Hello my darlings and welcome to a new reading vlog. So today we're doing one of my favorite reading vlogs, which is reading your recommendations. So I put books into this jar that I have either seen on a booktuber's channel or that a viewer has recommended. So they all go into here. I don't remember almost everything that's gone into here because I make sure I don't add it to my Goodreads, which has backfired in the past. So yeah, this is sort of a happy remembrance whenever I pick one out of the jar. So I am going to do three. I'm going to pull three books out of here. Let's see what we get this reading vlog. Okay, so we've got this one. I'll let you read first. Hopefully it's in focus. And what did I get? The Unmothers by Leslie Anderson, which was a recommendation by Zach Reeds. I'm pretty sure this was a horror, and it's about, I think, a horse who gives birth to a human child. So we've got a horror on here. Let's go again. Okay. Let's go again. I'm hoping that is the right way. Let's see what I got. Pet Sematary by Stephen King. I saw this on Tom Orange's channel. So I have not read any Stephen King, which I know, sacrilege, weird, but I never used to read horror books. So it's why I've never read, I guess you'd call him one of the greats of horror. And from what I have heard, Pet Sematary is one of his best ones. I know it involves animals, and I don't like reading about animals dying in books, but I'm going to go with Pet Sematary and hope for the best. So there's two horrors in here. All right, let's go for number three. Hopefully it's not a horror. I would like, do I go just one on top? Oh, I'm just going to shake it, which doesn't do anything except make me feel good. Okay. Oh, which one do I go for? Oh, there's multiples. All right, I'm going to do this one. I'm so nervous because it's the final book. It's the final countdown. Okay, let's see what I got. What did I get? The Italy Letters by V. Now. I saw this on Nathan's Nooks. This is definitely not a horror. I think this is a litfic. I just remember the cover had a lemon on there, and Nathan waxed lyrical about this book. It might not be my style. This one is definitely a risk for me, but I do, like I said, like going out of my comfort zone. And because this book came to my attention from a YouTube channel, I thought, let's go for it. You know what? I'm going to do one more. The kids are going to their dad's for 2 nights, and I'm not going out. I wanted to go out today, but I don't have the spoons. So I'm just going to be home for the next 2 days. May as well read. So I'm going to do another one. Okay, so we've got 2 horrors and a litfic. Let's see what else we get. Because the jar's really full, and I'm always adding to it far more than I'm subtracting from it. Okay, so we've got this in here. There'll probably be books in here I never get to. That makes me sad. Let's see. Dark Matter by Michelle Paver. Jason and the Argonauts recommended this. I don't remember this book at all. I have to look this one up because I don't remember this one at all. Dark Matter. Oh, okay. It's a ghost story. This one I think I am getting from my library, so it might take a day to come in. This is historical fiction, paranormal. Oh, okay. So we've got 3 creepy horror books and then 1 litfic. 2 of them were from booktubers, 2 of them were from my viewers. I know I can get ebooks immediately for the first 3. Dark Matter was just a physical copy only at my library, so that one, yeah, I might have to go down tomorrow. But I am going to the library today because I've got a huge stack of books waiting for me. So I will do a little library haul for you. So it'll be something other than just me sitting at home reading books for you to look at. And then I'll have to go down again tomorrow. I might walk down tomorrow so that way you get some nature shots. I feel weird when I only post me sitting down reading books unless you guys don't mind and you're happy just to see my mug and my living room or bedroom or whatever filming location. I do. My eldest daughter said to me the other day, she decided to watch one of my videos. She's never watched my videos. And she said, why do you keep changing locations? And I said, to keep it fresh. Because I feel like people would get bored if I'm just sitting in the one spot in all my videos. But she just, yeah, I love her. But sometimes she's very Regina George, and I feel like Katie, fresh from South Africa, just out of my depth. I will touch base with you guys once I've returned from the library. I won't be reading a book for then. I've got to clean the house as I do before the kids go to their dads, get all my housework done, and then sit and read. Okay guys, I am back from the library. My ex-husband's messaging me. I bet you the kids have forgotten something. I'll check that later. So I went to the library and I've got some books. So let me just show you what I got. So I've got Following the Moon by James Norbury. So this is generally an illustrated story. His other ones have been based on Buddhism, but I just find them really calming and sweet. Then we have Bake Joy by Kim Joy. So, I mean, look at this cover. I don't know what it's going to be like inside, but it just looked super cute from the outside, like really fun desserts. So thought I would give it a try. Then another cookbook. So this is Greekish by Georgina Hayden. This had a wait list a mile long. But once again, I have Greek background on my dad's side and the kids do like Greek food, so I'm trying to get them into cooking these holidays. We'll see if that happens. Got a book for Indy called The Littlest Oat Girl, and it's got this beautiful foiling on the cover, and it's by Lucy Fleming. The inside of the book pages were mushrooms, you know how I feel about that. But just the illustrations looked so sweet and beautiful. Indy does generally like funny books, but I couldn't resist, you know, the cover sold me. Then we've got The Nightmare Before Christmas by Sarah Rusk. And I was hoping to get this before Christmas, but the person returned it a little bit late. But this is a romance between, I think it's the Prince of Halloween and the Prince of Christmas. Then I have 22 Impressions by Jessica Friedman, and I think this is poetry based on the major arcana in tarot. So I'm always interested to see different books about tarot. We have Venus by Lisa Lister. So I think this is all about the feminine. Yeah. Forever Barbie by M.G. Lord. The unauthorized biography of a real doll. Susanna Clark, The Wood at Midwinter. I'm pretty sure this is illustrated. Look at those gorgeous end papers. Yes, it is. So it's got lovely illustrations. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of illustrations in adult books, especially fantasy. Next we have Flowers from the Void by Gianni Washington. I have no idea what this is about, but this cover was incredibly eye-catching. If I'm going to guess, I'm guessing horror short stories. Let's see if I'm right. A collection of delectably uncanny tales, gothic short stories. Kind of close. Life Lessons from Historical Women by Eleanor Mortons. This is a non-fic, and like I said, the cover just grabbed me. I just want to see if there's any pictures. No pictures, just fads. Tarangeles. Look at that cover though. I mean, look at that cover by Poroshista Kakpur. I'm not sure if it's the type of novel for me. I tend to not like anything that is about TV or movie stars, you know, that kind of Hollywood nature, but I couldn't resist with the cat. I have to give it a go. The Homeschool Advantage by Colleen Kessler. Look, it was sort of a dream of mine to be able to homeschool my kids and give them a different kind of education than they get in the school, like catered more towards their interests and curiosities and at their pace and multifaceted, you know, not just sit down, read books, memorize words, spit them out in a test. But yeah, to be able to do that, you need to have a partner, someone providing income, because homeschooling is a full-time job, especially if you want to do it well. But look, I figured if they're going to be going to state school, I could supplement their learning a little bit and make it a bit more enriching and a bit more comprehensive than just, like I said, reciting facts of whatever things that the school decides that they want to teach them. So I'm still always teaching myself and educating myself on how to better educate my children in life in general. And the last book is Life as No One Knows It by Sarah Imari Walker. And this is about the physics of life's emergence. So another non-fic book. I do have to return tomorrow to get Dark Matter, and I think I've got a few more books coming in as well. I think people are starting to return books after the Christmas break, but I have started reading The Unmothers and I'm liking it so far. So we've got the FMC, who is a reporter, and she's been sent to the town to investigate the horse kid. So obviously the town is very skeptical and weary of outsiders. I'm really enjoying the writing style so far, and we'll see how it goes. Obviously I'll be reading all of it, but so far so good. Oh, I'm feeling I'm getting like some muscle finally. I am now going to take a massive break and go lie in the sun and soak up its delicious rays, because yeah, I am a sunbaker. I know you're gonna say, oh, it ages you. I don't care. I don't care. Love lying in the sun too much, and it actually improves my health. I have a lot of conditions that are benefited from vitamin D, and not the male kind and not the kind that comes in a bottle. I don't absorb it as well. I do supplement. I have to, because I need vitamin D, but in summer I'm just so much healthier thanks to the sun. So I'm going to go lie in it and enjoy it and soak it up, and I probably will see you guys tomorrow to update you on how I'm going with my reading.
Belle doesn't like it when I go outside, and she doesn't get to go outside.
Hello guys, I am back with all the books. It's been a while since I filmed, so I have read everything and I'm here to talk to you about it. And because I've read everything, I'm going to go in order from my least favorite to my most favorite. So first up, we have the Italy Letters by V. Key Now. And this is an epistolary stream of consciousness, basically from this woman to her straight married friend, about her desire for her, her love for her, and just whatever else comes into her mind. There are a lot of mentions of trans people, because one of the best friends of the main character is a trans woman. Intimate partner abuse, baking cakes, bodily evacuations, the tennis player Djokovic, finances, and unrequited love. And throughout this book, her clitoris just won't leave her alone. So I would literally include her clit as another main character, because it's just constantly throwing with this unexpressed eros towards her married friend. With this kind of book, I think either you really connect to it or you don't. And for me, unfortunately, it was the latter. I just couldn't get into it. And so for me, it was a 2.5 stars. In some cases, flowery prose and stream of consciousness works, but in most cases, it doesn't. And it's the sort of feeling where it just ends up being words on paper, because I just don't have any resonance to the character or to their thought pattern, and the style of writing wasn't for me. So with these kinds of things, yeah, you'll know very quickly when you're reading it if it's for you or if it's not. My rating ended up being a 2.5 stars, just because, even though it was a short book, because I didn't gel with it, wasn't vibing. It did feel laborious, because this is no plot, just thoughts, just yearning. So that was the Italy Letters. Then we have Dark Matter by Michelle Paver. This is a horror book about, I have to keep the door closed because Valentine's listening to Kitty XO. You're going out too? Okay, off you go. In 2 seconds, they're going to return. We all know. Cats don't like closed doors. The next book, yes. So it's about a man who goes on an Arctic expedition, and the place that they're going is haunted, and weird stuff starts to happen. The setting and the atmosphere in this book was fantastic. Just the brutality and the beauty of the Arctic was encapsulated so well. And that was the part of the story that I enjoyed the most. The setting did feel like its own character. However, the main character is a goddamn idiot. He's one of those fools who stays when he should clearly get the fuck out. And he had so many opportunities to leave, so many. His fellow expedition teammates do end up leaving, and they offer him multiple chances to also leave and join them. But every time they message him, via the little telegram, and they say, "Are you okay?" He's like, "Tip top, mate," when he's clearly not doing well at all. And every time he says, "Yeah, I'm all good here," in his head, he said, "Why did I say that when I'm not?" But he does this so many times. It's over and over again where he's like, "Yeah, all good, mate." And that was just hella frustrating to read, because he knows he should go. He wants to go. He's counting down the time to leave. What do you want? Blue. But every time people randomly come to this campsite and say, "Hey, I'm heading out. Do you want to come?" No, he's like, "No, I'm good. I'll stay." For what? For what, bro? Ugh. So the writing for me too just was very basic. It didn't do much for me. But the biggest reason I disliked this book, because I did end up giving it a 2.5 stars, is because all of these are rounded up to a 3, is because there are so many animal deaths in this. So many animal deaths, and some of them are pointless, as in one of the men that is on this trip is a hunter and he just shoots seals and polar bears and shit for funsies, and I can't stand it. As you know, like, I've got a very low tolerance for animal death or abuse, and it has to make sense and it can't be prolific. And it was, in this book, I wasn't having it. There was a band of huskies too that were with them, and I'm not going to say more about that, but yeah, look, it just wasn't for me. It wasn't particularly scary either, that the haunting of the island, not a lot really happens. There wasn't a hell of a lot of violence. The ending was a bit bizarre too, how quickly something occurred, and it did throw me for a loop. I was like, wait, what? What just happened? Just then? Why? Like, so yeah, this one didn't work for me. But if you do like really cold, frigid, isolated man in a cabin, unsure whether he's losing his mind or a paranormal event is at play kind of stories, then you might enjoy this. But this one, yeah, didn't quite work for me in a horror sense, or character-wise or writing-wise. And then we have Pet Sematary by Stephen King. So another horror book. This one is considered a classic. I have not read Stephen King before. This was my first time with his writing. And I will have to say his prose wasn't my jam. I actually don't like his writing style. I found it, the way he writes, I ended up having to get the physical book. I couldn't just do the ebook. I thought maybe the physical book will help, and it did. But his pacing is so weird and did not work for me. And the way that he would intersperse the present day dialogue and happenings with the character flashbacking to some past situation or reminiscing on something, it just felt very jumbled to me, and I found it hard to stay in the story. But let me tell you what the story is first, instead of just going off into my opinions. So the story is about a family who relocate to this small town, and on their parcel of land is a pet cemetery. They get to know some of the members of the town, and they also get to know some of the lore of the town, and it does revolve around some ancient tribes and magic, and some of the biggest themes of the book were grief and death, and I'm a sucker for those, and I thought they were done fairly well. So I won't tell you what grief the family is suffering and what deaths occur, but that part I thought was great. I did like the themes overall, and the whole bit about staying on the path lest you lose yourself. There was a quote that I really enjoyed. You'll see why in a second. Cats were the gangsters of the animal world, living outside the law and often dying there. There were a great many of them who would never grow old by the fire. Oh, that cut me deep inside. This is the first time in my life where I will ever say these words, I think. They should have killed the cat. I couldn't believe that's how I felt, but that's how I felt when they made some decisions. And I thought, yes, this cat needs to die. And it was so frustrating to read the actions of one of the characters, but then you're left uncertain whether they really had a choice or if they were being influenced by external forces. My favorite character in here was their neighbor. And okay, the biggest thing that I had with this book, besides the very meandering type of writing that Stephen King seemed to do with his prose here, the pace, like I said, was off most of the time. It was probably sitting at a 40. You know, it might have kicked up to a 50 kilometers an hour, and then it would be like down to a 5 kilometers an hour. It was just, you know, down the lower end, you know, got cruising through a school zone basically. And then the last 50 or so fucking pages, pedal to the fucking metal. I was just like, what? It just out of nowhere. They said the ending of the book, the last little chunk of the book, Stephen King floored the fuck out of it, and everything happened. And I'm like, holy shit. And it was so whiplashy that I was like struggling to get my bearing and keep on it. It's like you're all of a sudden you've been trotting along on your horse and they go into a goddamn gallop and you're holding onto the reins for dear life so that you don't get thrown. But it did throw me because I was like, where was this? When you couldn't have chucked some of this in the rest of the book. Like, we had to go through a crawl and then just fall off the goddamn side of a cliff. So yeah, the ending was the best part for me because I'm like, okay, shit's going down, but so much shit went down. And it was hard to just make sense of everything that was going on. And also you can't, it's like when you're going on a roller coaster, you can't process what's happening until you've gotten off it. You know, it's just, you just have to let everything happen to you and let your stomach be in your throat. And then after you've got your feet firmly on the ground again, can you decompress and be like, okay, what did I just experience? Because that's what it was like with the ending of this book. Yeah, I'm going with a 3. Like, the story idea was really good. There were some characters I enjoyed, but I don't think I am the right reader for Stephen King's style. Just the way the story was told didn't work for me, with the writing style, with the way they structured their scenes and the pacing especially. It took the enjoyment factor out of it. I think this could have been really amazing. Maybe like there was the grief there reminded me of oh my god, what's the name of the book? I'll put the picture up here. I think it's by Gus Moreno. It reminded me a bit of that, and I liked that. So yeah, the ending was wild. Yeah, obviously animals die in this, but it makes sense for the story. So it wasn't one of those situations where it affected me negatively in so much as to hate the book. I was like, no, this makes sense for the story. I can take it. But yeah, I don't think Stephen King is for me. I know, I'm sorry. Look, what I enjoy doesn't make sense to me either. Okay, like if I look back all of the books that I've rated, 4 stars and up, there's no logic or rhyme or reason there. It's very fucking weird. But I like what I like, and this one was okay. I enjoyed it, but I can tell I should probably just not try Stephen King again, especially if his writing style is like this. So someone let me know, does his writing style change, or is it the same? Is it the same? But yes, that was a 3 stars. So we're now getting to the final book of this reading vlog, and that was The Unmothers by Leslie J. Anderson. So this book, as I mentioned previously, you had a reporter being sent to investigate a small town's tale of a child being born to a horse. And at first I thought, oh my God, is this a story about a dude that fucks a horse and they have a baby? Not really. This also had a repeated motif of people being a little lost, and also themes, once again, of grief, and like chronic illness, it never really goes away. There was also a lot about perhaps feeling numb to the horrors of the world because the grief has wrung you dry. A lot about small town politics and problems, and a hell of a lot of female rage, horse girl style. So yeah, this was a really wonderfully surprising, generational, slow-paced folk horror book. The fog and the trauma are heavy in this. And I would definitely watch out for trigger warnings of schmishmortions and the ending of one's own life. But this worked. This worked for me. I gave it a 4 stars. I can see why maybe for some people, yeah, the slow-pacedness of the book, and it's got a more subdued, mild tone to it, even though there are a lot of serious, heavy, horrific things occurring. But I vibed with the prose, with the style, and I enjoyed reading it. And I'm glad that it was recommended to me, because I had seen it around, but because so many people also had thought negatively on it and its rating was low, I didn't add it to my TBR, and now I am reconsidering my choice to do that, to be influenced a lot by people's negative opinions and Goodreads low rating, because yeah, sometimes you are the right reader for the book, and in this case I was. I jived with the story and the way it was told. So I think going forward, if the plot sounds interesting to me, the premise of the book, I will check it out. I'm not going to put so much weight on the opinions of others in deciding whether or not I try a book. Like I can decide for myself. Once I start reading it, I'll know very quickly if it's for me, if it's not, if we're a match. So yeah, from this day forward, thanks to The Unmothers, if the plot sounds up my alley, I'm going to have a look at it. Let me know if there was a book that somebody recommended to you that you ended up enjoying. But until next time, stay wild, Star Child.